This film had me feeling the way I did when I left Rogue One, which is when I left Rogue One, you already know. When I left Rogue One, I was like, Empire has been my favorite Star Wars movie for fucking decades. And then when I left Rogue One, I was like, has Empire finally been like defeated? Like, is this better than fucking Empire? And to me, Spider-Man 2 has been the undisputed, in my opinion, GOAT of the live action Spider-Man series. I'm getting chills as I say this. And I'm like, did a Brand New Day just kind of finally surmount, you know, we're starting, fuck it. Did it finally surmount like Brand New Day? Because no other film made me think that. Like this one did though. And we're gonna jump around, but like Jean Grey, she pissed me off because I'm like, you're kind of evil, dude. Like I mean, like you killed a lot of people, so like how am I supposed to think of you as a hero, right? But like somehow we just forget. I don't know, but I just felt like as Spider-Man, this is what it is. This is what it is. Odyssey. Nothing I saw in Odyssey made me go, wow, I've never seen this before. There is one scene, you can probably guess which one it was, in this movie where I was like, I've never seen that before, and that was incredible. So it actually that and the Incredible Hulk was again, I'm sorry, I'm like spilling all my candy in the lobby right now. I loved the damn movie. Your turn, man.
Yeah. No, I definitely it for me it is better than Spider-Man 2. Like I liked it more. I think overall, and we'll get into it. When I walked out of the theater, I was talking to my kids, I was like, dude, that's a 9 out of 10. Like, you know, and then when we were talking about it in the car, I was like, there was actually story-wise, there was a few plot holes and there was a lot of stuff crammed in there that maybe didn't need to be. And so like maybe it's an 8.5. So like for me, it's still great and it's still better than Spider-Man 2, but it wasn't a flawless movie. It definitely had its issues. But I enjoyed it a ton. I think everybody was great. Um, I I really liked Sadie Sink. I liked her turn as Jean Grey. Um, and there's a lot of setup and interesting
Keep
stuff.
talking.
Yeah,
Keep talking.
going forward, I think we're going to see just who actually knows and remembers Peter Parker further on down the line, because there's a few possibilities with what they did in the story, and they can kind of choose where they want to go. And none of them will really be wrong. I see a lot of people arguing online about like what the handshake means at the end. Um, you know, you know, what's up with MJ? Like, is she done? Like, is she out of the Spider-Verse now at this point, and he can move on with somebody else? She doesn't remember him, so there's a lot of stuff up there, or out there, but it was really good. I think. Like I said, there was a lot of stuff crammed in here that I'm not sure about. Um, I think for the character, the Punisher was actually a miss. I
Interesting.
do think that what they, how they used the character and the performance of Johnny Bernthal and all of that, I thought was great. So I'm not knocking it, but I do think this, if you I guess I'll just say it now. Like if you go watch the Punisher one shot movie on Netflix, there is no way to me that that character becomes um this character that we saw. Like he was just too chipper, too like plucky. Like yeah, he wanted to blow stuff up, but he was joking most of the time. And like, go watch Daredevil, go watch the Punisher series, go watch the Punisher one shot. He is never this fun. And I now, granted, um, I don't know. I mean, I assume the Punisher one shot takes, I think they said that the Punisher one shot is supposed to take place at the same time as this movie.
Hmm.
So, it's not even, it's during the 4 years that um the other kids are in school. So like I don't know, man. I don't know. It was just he was way too light for anything he's ever done with this version of the Punisher in the MCU. So like for me that really was a miss. But otherwise, like I said, the character dynamic between what they did do with the Punisher and Spider-Man was great. And I think this is definitely the other thing to say is it is definitely a Spider-Man movie. I mean, he's in the costume more often than he's not, right? So I mean, he is Spider-Man and we see some Peter Parker. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool.
So going into the Punisher, so I'm someone who has not really, as you know, gone into the the Daredevil universe really at all. So for me, this is like my first real impression of Punisher. And what I found interesting was the lack of, obviously the logo, but I know that the logo has been kind of co-opted, I think, by some like, weird, like, you know,
I mean, he had
far
it a little
right.
bit. It was kind of spray painted
Oh, okay.
on his
I
armor,
didn't
but
catch it.
also yeah, even in the show, like they yeah, like the police that were kind of corrupt were using his logo for themselves,
Mm,
and like it was definitely some sneaky shit. So but yeah, his logo was there. It's just not as defined as it is in the comics.
got it. But no, I liked it, and I actually I was saying, well, first of all, I went with Saloni, and she actually was like. Her praise was so high for it. She actually said, "This is my favorite movie of the year so far." And I said, "Better than Project Hail Mary?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Wow."
Wow.
She's like, for her, it was like I liked the audiobook better, so I was a little let down by the movie.
Hmm.
But this one, she was like, "This was great." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Did she not see the Odyssey?
She saw the Odyssey. But for her, it was like the pacing in the first part was too much.
That's
She
true.
just felt
I will
it was
give you that.
boring as hell.
Yeah.
But this one, the thing is, this movie also was not short, but to me, it didn't feel like it dragged. For me, it didn't. It actually moved at a very steady pace.
The last
And
hour dragged for me, but only because I thought my bladder was going to rupture. Like, dude, I thought I was going to die. I was twitching so hard during this movie. And like, as soon as the credits rolled, like I looked up when the post-credit scene was, and it said it wasn't till the very end. And I was like, I'll be right back. And I went to use the bathroom during the credits. Dude, like I was, I was
I
doing the
couldn't.
uncomfortable like leg switch and like like if we were
The
in
worst.
old traditional seats where there was no arm space to I'd have been driving somebody crazy. But yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm yeah, before I go into movies these days, even like for this one, like I'm like, you need to go? She's like, no, okay. So she sat down and then I got up and went. I just went. I was like, even though I didn't need to go that bad, I was like, I don't, I hate getting up in the movies. Even you didn't ask for this, but even for Man of Steel, there's a scene where he goes to a church and like that's when I went and like used the bathroom and I came back and obviously there was like a crosses all over the place in the background and I missed that. But anyway, so I remember the stuff that I miss when I go to the bathroom. I'm sorry, dude. That's the worst. But yeah, no, so for me it was long, but didn't feel long. And um yeah, I remember what I was gonna say now. Johnny Bernthal. I was telling Saloni, I said, there's really nothing I've seen him in that I didn't like. I feel like he's always consistent. And if anything, I felt like his Odyssey appearance was kind of underwhelming for me. But it wasn't him, it was just what he had to work with. But everything he's in, whether it's the bear, whether it's this, I'm always like, I like you, Johnny. And it was just like, I liked how like, go home, Frank. Like, I just like how Peter is like, the good one. And Johnny's like, well, do it my way, And Johnny's definitely more like, yeah, I will kill you, and it's okay. Like And I just feel like they're learning a bit from each other, and it was a real camaraderie, and it was such a New York movie, and
Hmm.
it was like we're really just, it just felt like a Spider-Man film through and through. Like it was like there are so many moments. But anyway, so yeah, I just had to mention I had to like respond to um your observations about Punisher. But I am intrigued now. I am intrigued to finally go in and
Yeah,
see the
I
more
would tell
serious
you
version.
that if you just want to get the gist, you could watch the one shot. I mean, there's a whole lot of history to the character in Daredevil, and then in his own series for sure. But you could watch the one shot and get the idea of the character pretty well. And I think if you watch that, you'll understand what I mean. It's such a departure from what he is right now, that it did bother me a little bit. And the other the other thing that got me, unfortunately, um, and again, it's a minor nitpick because it wasn't that bad, but because I noticed, it messed me up in the scene when he's in the sauna with
Black Widow.
yeah,
Mhm.
with Yelena. Uh, he had his mask on, but it was very clearly a CGI mask.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it totally, I had the uncanny valley moment, and you could just see, especially along the bottom, where it just didn't fit quite right and it didn't move quite right. Like it was just a little wrong. And I couldn't, I couldn't not see it as soon as I saw it. So I was actually pretty relieved when that scene was over because it was driving me crazy and it wasn't that bad. Like I very easily could have not noticed it and then I would have been fine. But because I did, I couldn't unsee it during that scene. Um, but what I think is interesting is that I saw a lot of people complain about the C, not as a lot of people, but I saw the people that complain about the CGI. And we've seen better in the MCU. I think for whatever reason, I think CGI has taken a step back in the last couple of years compared to where it was, say, in Endgame. Um, but it wasn't that bad in this. I thought it was for the most part actually pretty decent.
I think part of what might be infecting my experience as well as Simone's, and thank God that she's into this because not everyone's into what I'm about to say. We saw it in 3D. We saw it
Mm.
in 3D RPX. And when you've got Chinese like throwing stars going everywhere and glass being like leveled up at people's necks and stuff and just all the Spidey action in 3D, oh my God, it was like for me the ultimate for us, the ultimate eye candy. So maybe the 3D element kind of helped mask some of those like CGI
It
mishaps
could
maybe.
have. I haven't seen a 3D movie in a little bit, partly because I don't have contacts right now. So like it's
Yeah,
really weird to go and put 3D glasses on over my
can't do it.
glasses. I can and I have,
Oh
but it's
wow.
not very comfortable. It's very distracting. So it's sort of a lame reason. I actually love 3D. My old
Okay.
TV was actually a 3D TV, so we had the glasses and everything. So I had a bunch of somewhere I've got a bunch of 3D Blu-rays and stuff like that. And I think it disappoints me that it's a technology that didn't quite take off at home. Because I think it's pretty freaking cool. It bums me out that, like I said, that people didn't love it as much. Um, but I do like seeing a movie in 3D when I can. I think I saw one of the Star Wars sequels in 3D, and that was pretty dope.
I saw
Um,
Avatar in 3D, the
that was
first one.
incredible. That
Yeah.
the first one
Yes.
was definitely it was
Different.
it was a thing. Like especially like not every scene worked, but like the scene in the in their like base where you had all the monitors and stuff around.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
mean,
it looked
it's funny that
incredible.
you said that. Yeah, Sully, and even for Sully, and just in the beginning, like just in the like, yeah, I was like, this feels like I'm actually kind of like I'm there, and that was like everything felt a bit more three-dimensional. But I just know some people give some headaches and stuff, and I'm just
Yes.
like, but for me, no, I love 3D. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
But what surprised me, believe it or not, was it me or was it Yelena kind of not that like,
She was a touch flatter than
yeah,
usual. Like the energy
yeah.
wasn't quite there. I think actually later in the movie she was funnier when they had
Yes.
their kind of webcam scene.
Yes.
When she was in the sauna, yeah, it felt like she was
Yeah.
making the same jokes, but they didn't work the same way. And I don't know what
No.
it was. Um, but they got it figured out later in the movie. But yeah, I know I 100% said the same
Yeah,
thing
it was
to my
weird.
kids. I was like, yeah, there was an energy that was missing, that that I expected from her. Not that it was a bad performance. It
No.
just wasn't as good as it usually is.
Right. Okay. It wasn't just me. I love that two people from the Bear are in the movie. And I root for people who are kind of like, just like coming up. So even though her role wasn't like that huge, it was still nice to see the detective or sergeant, whatever she was.
Yes.
I enjoy her, and yeah, all right, she's also awesome. So I just wanted to throw that out. So I guess for me, like, what else did you not like, or what else did you think was a bit of a plot hole? Because all I got is
So
gushing.
one major thing is that, like, again, going back to the MCU shows with the Punisher, he's not cop friendly. Like, he kills people. He's a murderer. He's wanted. Like, he's a wanted man.
That's why
But
he's hiding
in
in the dock or
Yeah,
whatever.
but in several scenes in this movie, he directly interacts with the police and walks away from it. Like, as if he's just fine. And again, it's a nitpick because I've seen the other shows. If you're
Hmm.
coming into this movie and haven't seen those, it wouldn't bother you,
Right.
right? But he should be like, if he walks anywhere that the police can see him, he should
Just take
be
him in.
arrested immediately. And so I think, that is definitely another thing where they just kind of were excited to have the Punisher in the movie, and they were just like, screw it, we're going to make him work with the movie we're making. But it just, yeah, it didn't work for me in that regard too. Um, and yeah, there was a couple more, and I'll try to think of what they were.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was. I mean, again, it wasn't a bad movie, and the plot holes that were there are kind of minor. Um, but yeah, another thing that I loved that you didn't mention yet is that our boy Trammell Tillman was in there.
Oh yeah, which is funny
Yeah,
because Sonny was like, he looks familiar. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's the guy
it's from Severance.
from Severance. He's
It
like, yeah.
Something about him looked different, so I just wasn't 100% sure. But like, the
So it
more I
wasn't just
listened to his voice, I was like, it's
yes. She
it's
said
100% him.
the voice. She said that sounds like Milchick. Yep. She said that guy sounds so much like a Milchick. I'm like, because it is Milchick.
Yeah, I don't know why he looked different to me. I don't know, like maybe he had a couple extra pounds on him, or his hair was different, or
I think it was
what.
both. It was absolutely both. But to me, it was almost like I don't know. Like this is where I get a little like this is like a such a nitpick. I'm not even gonna worry about it. But like I don't know. I don't like it when like the you know how do I put this? You already know where I'm going. But like why you gotta be bad guy, dude? Like there's so little of us now in the MCU. Why are we bad guys? Anyways, but no, but anyway, but you already get it. But no, I mean, so because based on what we saw, I mean, yo, you killed her sister. So yeah. You know what? To be
Yeah,
honest with you, I'm not even sure what happened to him. Did he? Because I mean, I feel like,
I think they said at the end that he's just disappeared. Like, they
yeah,
don't they don't
he's
know
got
where he
away.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So speaking of just like, yeah, okay, so let's get into it. Because well, first of all, I mean, love the interaction and chemistry between him and Ned, and of course MJ. But now I've got it. We've got to call her out. All right. Well, first of all, Sadie Sink killed it. I was not thinking of your. Already forgot your character's name. Like in Stranger Things. Like you have graduated.
Yep.
You are on to bigger and better things, and you killed it. And I think I cannot wait to see you evolve. Um, Something that, two things that I read after the fact I didn't think about during the film. Saloni was like, when that kid looks at him in the crowd at the end and they kind of make eye contact and then he does the spotty thing, was that kid just kind of being a kid or was that Sadie kind of taking over the kid just to say, hey, what's up? And I said, you know what? That's actually to me kind of plausible because like once her powers were unleashed, that whole like feet thing just she almost took out all like half of New York.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and I remember also thinking during that scene, man, the X-Men are going to be a problem. As in, like, I love how you're setting up the mutant saga to be even bigger than like what the Infinity Saga was, because these mother effers, like this version of Magneto is going to be the kind who can fly up into space and just shut down the world. Like I feel like that's what they're setting this up for, which is going to be nuts, and I'm here for it. But going back to Sadie, um, yo, what's up? Like, I mean, I haven't Gemini this, but was Jean Grey, like the young Jean Grey in some universe, like was she really that much of an a-hole? Like, cause she like once she made that one guy like walk in the street and get hit by the car, yo, he's dead. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. She has been, I mean, problematic because she didn't understand her powers usually in the comics when they have that kind of storyline with her. Even in I think it was the X-Men with the girl from Game of Thrones. She was a
Oh,
little
right.
too powerful and kind of messed shit up when she was young. Although they kind of dicked with the whole Phoenix Force thing in that one too. But yeah, it really depends, and I think I think they started her off properly broken. So some of the things that she did, for the most part, were fair. Although, yeah, I think the dude getting hit by the taxi was probably too much. Um, like that one was like, how do you just find out your sister's dead and be like, oh, she's dead, so I'll be less murdery now, right?
Yes.
Like, so yeah, definitely. She should have been. I don't think that moment should have happened. I have seen a lot of people talking about the kid that she was talking to, the black kid she was talking to,
Yeah.
and just how great his performance was.
Right.
Like that kid was kind of a scene stealer.
Yeah.
Like whatever, like he was delivering, he was channeling, Jean Grey or whatever. But the kid as an actor did a really good job. Like I kind of want to see what his next thing is. Because he really he kind of
Sold
ate
it.
that scene up. Like he was impressive.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think yeah, most of the stuff that happened in that scene was great. It was fun to see him kind of calculate the distance, like what she had to do. I have seen a lot of people also complain about how much technology he has and like potentially how much
Still.
money he has. But then I saw, somebody else pointed out, they're like, look, he doesn't do anything. Like the only thing he spends money on is rent. And so we don't know what he does for work or how he makes money. But like part of me wonders if, just because, um, nobody remembers Peter Parker doesn't mean he didn't have an account somewhere with some of the Stark money that he couldn't access somehow. He's kind of a genius. And I think too, he has that fabricator in there. If you watch No Way Home, that's what he finds in Happy's apartment. There's a fabricator. So like maybe he went and grabbed that um, before moving into his apartment or whatever. So I mean, there's a few ways he could have had it, but if you look around the apartment, and the kid's a genius. I think that is one of the things that they really leaned into really well in this one was just how smart Peter Parker is.
Yeah.
Because the whole scene with him and Banner, I think, was
It was
awesome when there's
cool.
just talking.
Yeah.
That I must be wrong because I think my kids don't really remember, but I would have sworn in one of the trailers or some piece of footage that they showed um Peter Parker talking to the guy that made the spider video. You know, the video where the spider's molting and you can hear the voice narrating it. It's
Hmm.
it's an actor whose name I can almost picture him. And I can't remember who it is. Um, but I thought the guy showed up in in the trailer. Like I thought he was actually going to be in the movie and then he wasn't there. So it could 100% me just being crazy and not remembering it. But I thought he was going to be in it.
Yeah. Um, I would have to see the trailer again. But going now to Banner, I think that was the greatest Hulk action possibly ever. I mean, I think that between the foot stomp, which was of course was from, at least for me as a kid, the Incredible Hulk TV series,
Yeah.
and then like the clapping, like I was like, what? And then we haven't seen like that version of Hulk, I would say. I mean, he shows up briefly in Infinity War, but the last time we get that Hulk was obviously Ragnarok. So for me, and this one was just bigger and scarier and like I love how he be falling, but still like grab him in midair or mid fall and just like fuck him up. So, sorry, mess him up some more. Like he was just man. Sorry. Me that was. See, here's the thing. I feel like this version of the Hulk was what you know the new Captain America with Red Hulk. They wanted like it's like it gave me like they wanted the Red Hulk to be like, oh my God, mind blown, right? But I feel like this version of the Hulk delivered that like holy crap. I mean, it was great to hear Sony like express legit like fear for Spidey. Like oh my God. And it was like he was like run and I'm like yeah, run, dude. Like that man, man, yeah, I love that Hulk action.
That
And
was a line delivery that was absolutely hilarious is when she takes over Punisher and he's about to fight Hulk and Johnny Bernthal in a very feminine voice because it's like good luck Spidey or whatever he says. I don't remember what he says. Hilarious. Like just the intonation that he gave it was so funny. Because again, I think like the character that they made the Punisher in the movie totally worked. It's just he's so
not.
different and not so different, but I mean he's so damaged in the MCU before this that again it seems like a bit of a stretch, but I did like the performance that Johnny Bernthal gave overall, and that bit was hilarious. Um, but yeah, I think the Hulk fight was incredible. I like that
No pun
we got to
intended.
see, yeah, right. I like to see that they said that she broke something in his brain because in the comics, um, in the lore, like she will go into somebody's brain, and we saw it with if you go back to the original X-Men movie, Charles Xavier did the opposite. He did it to her. He put up walls in her mind to basically hide the bad stuff. Um, and so like you can see that she inadvertently, undid the same thing with Banner. The walls that he built for himself, um, she destroyed it. And so it'll be interesting to see going forward. Are we back to super angry Hulk?
Oh yeah,
You know,
1000%.
yeah,
And I think that that's actually because I mean I think people have been mad about
yeah,
Smart Hulk and like Hulk has been so quote unquote nerfed throughout the MCU, but now
yeah.
we're getting him back, and it's also not a forced way. I think it's a very real way, and then also going back to like harkening back to the comics. So in this universe, the person who's invented the dampener or like the collars, whatever,
Hmm.
was Peter Parker. I love
Yep.
it because I'm like, that's how, because that's going to be the big thing in the X-Men. Like,
Yes, that will
you
come up
know,
again for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just getting chills thinking about it. All right, now I'm going to talk about this scene that I've never seen before that I loved and was just ultimate. So for me, when Peter finally decides to accept both sides of himself, and then, Foot Clan, whatever they're called,
The
are
hand.
fighting him. But the hand, yeah, the hand, and he like jumps up in the air and then just starts spinning webs wherever, and then he falls and twirls and is spinning the web so that they're all just caught. Like what? Like what? Like I'm like, dude, like. I remember being a kid thinking to myself, like before I saw what he could do and understanding he actually had super strength and everything, I'm like, you're just a guy who spins webs in a suit. Like, how are you gonna fight all these monsters with like powers and magic and blah blah blah? Like I was legitimately as a kid watching Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends every time. Like the anxiety was too much for me as a kid. I'm like, how are you gonna like Firestar and Iceman at least can like have elemental powers. You just punch and spin webs. But that scene, and just when you see Spidey with the black eyes, now you understand, no, he absolutely is pulling his punches because he is a strong dude and he will
Mhm.
absolutely you up if he just lets loose. I love it. I love that. And in a way, it's almost like we're seeing because another thing that people have talked about is how in Civil War, when like Captain America like kind of like suns him and like just kind of takes him out and goes, Brooklyn, whatever, after like he just like, yeah, people are like, no, dude. Like, no. In real life, Spider-Man would absolutely like demolish Captain America. Like he is stronger than him,
Yeah.
and I think what it was is just, yeah, we're seeing boy Spider-Man in, pre this, but now we're seeing like Spider-Man. And this guy can absolutely, do some pretty amazing feats. So yeah, it was a soft reboot that worked and I think has promise for the better. That's what I get. And it feels authentic. It feels authentic to the character and
That
authentic to the lore.
Yeah, that was another thing that felt like a bit of a miss to me too, and not necessarily because of the movie, but the way that it was presented to us so much in the trailers that I felt like there was supposed to be more to his physical
Like
transformation.
the man spider thing?
I
Yes.
don't know if it was supposed to go that far. It just felt like there was going to be more, and we really almost saw everything in the trailer
Yes.
that had to do with that. And so
Correct.
that disappointed me a little bit too, because it felt like they were overselling this thing. And
Transformation.
again, it was important to the story. It worked in the story. It just felt oversold from the trailer. And again, like the things that I'm complaining about, like I said, when I took it from a 9 to an 8.5, it really, I mean, these are relatively small things. I do think the Punisher thing is probably bigger. But I think, I can live with it. But yeah, they're just like I said, a few things that were either oversold or maybe didn't need to be there or didn't matter. But it was still pretty great overall.
What did you
Um,
think didn't matter or didn't need to be there?
I think number one, the hand didn't make any sense to have in there. Like it was like they
Oh,
were they
for
were
me, it
literally
was it
put
was
in
the
the
fight
movie.
scenes.
Yeah,
It
they
was
were
the fight
literally put in the
scenes.
movie but like the hand is a huge organization and somehow there's like six of them.
Huh.
Like
Okay.
yeah, it just was like they had an idea and they used them, but they didn't really respect them. Like
Do they show up anywhere else in live action Marvel, or is this the
all
first
over
time?
Daredevil. All over
Okay.
Daredevil. Like he fights a shit ton of them. Like a massive amount of them. And it's just like yeah, it should have been if they were going to be there, there should have been a lot of them, and it should have even with him all beefed up just because of the number of them and how they fight. It should have been maybe a harder fight.
Huh.
Um, like they're genuinely badass, unkillable. Like
How does Daredevil? Okay, here's my question. Calibration time. Who would win in a fight? Peter versus Daredevil.
I mean, ultimately, Spider-Man. He's stronger for one
Yeah.
by a long ways. And Daredevil he's an incredible fighter. And if it was just strictly hand to hand, no webs, but you still can't really beat Peter because of his Spidey sense.
Yeah.
So like it in a lot of ways it's an unfair fight. Um, because while Daredevil has superpowers, he doesn't have super strength. I mean, he can take a beating, but he couldn't take, a full Spider-Man powered beating, right? Like depending on which version of Spider-Man is, it's kind of like when you're talking about the Hulk, right? Like depending on which version of the Hulk you're reading, he's anywhere from like stupid strong to basically Superman. Like
Yeah.
he's he has been overpowered so far in the comics. Like he can breathe in space because he can't die. Like there's all kinds of stuff that they've done to the Hulk in the comics, um, because you've got to keep making your hero stronger and stronger and stronger. In Back in the early 90s, Todd McFarlane rebooted Spider-Man. Somewhere I have the first edition actually autographed by Todd McFarlane. But
Awesome.
um, if you look at that one, like basically like a city block almost falls on him and he's holding it up. Like Spider-Man's strong. Like he's incredibly strong. And so it just depends on, again, which version of him you're reading
So the
or you're
reason why
making.
I asked that is because like I'm feeling like you're saying Daredevil took on more of the hand, right?
Mm.
And clearly won because if he didn't, there'd be no Daredevil show, I'm guessing.
Thing about the Daredevil show is he gets the absolute piss kicked out of him all the time,
Okay.
like big time. Like he is not invincible. His big thing is that his dad was a fighter and his dad took a beating to win, basically. Like his dad's strategy was take a beating until the other guy's tired and then knock him out.
Mm,
Right. And so he kind of learned from his dad and then, he got his superpowers and stuff. So he really is, you know, he can take a beating. And he is, uh, just combat wise, an incredible fighter. And so him fighting the hand, he's a better fighter than they are. Um, but when you have a ton of them, it definitely is harder for him. And he's been hospitalized and brutalized. Like he ends up in bad shape more often than not in the
okay.
series.
So the
Um,
hand is basically better in the show than they were in this movie.
I would say so. They definitely Spider-Man them up like they were brighter colored for the show and stuff like that. So, yeah, I would say that they're a little more badass in uh, in
Daredevil.
in in Daredevil.
Okay. Cool.
So the other thing that I've got I'm curious to see your take, and I think, like I said in the beginning, it's something that I think can go any way they want it in the next film. So you've got the handshake at the end with Ned,
Bad.
and at the end he says Peter, and there's like a look on his face. So the question is he recognizing Peter as Spider-Man because she said his name earlier in the film when he was
Oh,
leaving, or is he recognizing his friend Peter from his
I
memories
take
being
it.
unlocked?
I take it to be the latter. And it reminds me of like the end of X-Men The Last Stand where uh it's the after credit scene actually where Magneto is playing chess and he just kind of puts his hand out and then you see the chess piece move a little bit and it goes to
Mhm.
black. I'm like, oh, fuck, gotta chill. So to me, it's like there's hope against hope because he got the cure. So how did he do that, you know? And I
Yeah.
feel like Doctor Strange, which is funny by the way, when Jean Grey's going crazy and shit, I'm like, where's Doctor Strange right now? Like we could use you.
Well, I'm
But
pretty sure
anyway.
doesn't at the end of a Multiverse of Madness doesn't
Oh, that's right. He goes
Charlize
with
Theron
Leia.
take him into that other
Yeah.
dimension?
Yeah.
So we don't
That's
we don't
right.
know what happened to him there yet. So he very well may not be around.
I hear he actually might be working with Doom. Like that's like the rumor, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think anything's possible in that movie. Another thing that thinking about the movie, um, so there's always the possibility that at some point, whether we saw it or not, that Jean Grey unblocked their memories or fed their memories back to them.
Um,
Now we don't see anything about that. It's purely speculation, right? On my part. Um, but it's possible.
yeah.
Like she could have done it. And so, um, you know, Ned may remember strictly because of that. Another thing that is interesting too is if you look at, um, I kind of wonder if that's not the case, right? If they can have their memories jarred out of them. I thought that the second time, like when he was swinging MJ back to her apartment, uh, it felt like maybe there was some recognition there, even though she said before that, "I don't know you and I don't love you." Could that have been fake? Like, could she have been leaning into his stuff so that he can continue to do what he's doing? Uh,
So I remember like, man, and yeah, you're telling me we're on the same page here. Like I was like, that sucks. Like that's awkward as hell. Like you just got like kind of like friend zoned basically.
yeah, oh
And
yeah.
then right? And then it's like, can you give me a ride home? Basically. Like what? Like you can't call an Uber? So he's gotta like take this girl back.
Well, I don't even
I
think she
think
could get out of there without blowing up, so he really needed to take her home.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, any human would have died in those traps. Anyhow,
yeah,
but like I liked how she was like, "Do you want to come upstairs?" Like we could still be friends. I thought that was cool. So
yeah,
for me personally, it was like I bought it. I actually thought of her as like, nah, she didn't remember shit, basically. And but she still cared for him as a human. And I think if anything, it's like maybe there will be recognition like off screen. I think Ned got it first. Um, and I also wondered about maybe a possible love triangle because frankly, you know, she was giving me like because isn't MJ in the comics, doesn't she have red hair
yeah.
in
She's
the
usually
comics?
redhead.
Yeah. And I just feel like the when she was in the bus just kind of with her head like, against the window or whatever, I was like I don't know. She might be like, because she's like, I have no one. Which, by the way, I was like, dude, like, cliche alert. Like, obviously, I knew he was gonna say, yeah, me, But I feel like if you're a kid and you're like, like you're 7 or 8 or whatever, that's the first time you're seeing someone say, well, you have me. But for me, I was just kind of like, oh, grown. But at the same time, it was like still a beautiful moment, and it was like, something Saloni said to me. I keep mentioning Saloni, so I'm a good fiance, obviously. I personally, as a human, am very much, I try to be as self-sufficient and reliant as possible, and some people would say, oh, you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. And I'm like, okay, fine. She was like, that was a good lesson for the movie. Like, you can't do it alone. I said, okay, I agree to an extent, but, you know, they only have each other, really. Yes, he's got Ned and MJ, but that's it, dude. He can't be like, hey, world, help me. I'm Spider-Man. You can't do that. Like, I just think on some journeys, it really is a solo mission. And if someone, and I said to her also, I said, if you do have help, it's only because they actually kind of offered to help or they want to help. It's not like you actually had to kind of pull teeth to get them to help you. And I said, even with Punisher, it's like, yeah, he did ask for that favor, but I thought he kind of had the leverage because he saved his life. He kept bringing it up. So it's just kind of like, so anyway, I bring all that up to say now him and MJ have a bond. Not, oh, wow, I called her. Now him and Jean have a bond because he basically took a bullet for her. And that to
Hmm.
me was like, damn. Like that's hero shit right there. Like that is why you are who you are. And it was beautiful and it was like and it was understandable because homegirl was going crazy and homeboy's like, yo, I gotta take her out. Sorry. But the Spidey sense just kicks in and he does his thing. Yo, I think that everything after he got hit to the end of the movie was magic to me. Magic. The
Yeah,
whole thing.
I saw it more of a brother sister vibe between the two of them.
That's fair.
Um, just with the way like the conversation they had, kind of inside his mind and his little
Sure.
mind palace there. Um, they shared the Aunt May moment kind of thing. And I feel like they're gonna have to either commit to getting rid of MJ or get him back together. I don't think there's a middle ground there. Um, But yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. The other thing that
Yeah.
makes me
Well,
wonder,
I'm sorry, I gotta say something else.
yeah,
Something that also like made me think that was how like when she took over MJ's mind and kissed him and all that stuff, that was almost like, a little like, like you have to do all that, but she legitimately, because it was cruel, but also just maybe on a sly, she was like, I wonder what it's like, I don't know. Anyways, now I'm stop instigating, but all right.
well, I was going to say the other thing that makes me wonder if or when MJ got any kind of memories back is that it finally at some point, I don't remember at what point near the end of the movie, she's on the roof of the school and she's playing with a necklace that Peter Parker gave her when they were in Europe. She's not
In
seen
college.
wearing it in the rest of the movie. So at some point, she
Yeah.
put this necklace on and is fiddling with it for whatever reason. Is it because she remembers? Is it because it's just a feeling she has? Like, is it way back in the back of her mind, just kind of tickling, or does she really remember? And so like there's definitely there's a lot of stuff there, especially if you go back and rewatch the end of the movie, um, that they can play with. They don't like they the way they shot it, they don't have to commit to anything right now. They could easily say, yeah, Ned's thing was that he recognized him as Spider-Man because she called him Peter and she doesn't remember who he is. So she's about to fuck off with dude from Ahsoka, like, um, you know, and so like, yeah, they've got so much opportunity to do whatever they want. That it's kind of an interesting way to shoot the ending. Like it's a lot more open-ended than it seems. Another cool fun fact about this movie, his AI Evie
hmm
is voiced by Naomi Watts, who is in the very first movie Tom Holland was ever in.
Aw.
Yeah. So she plays Evie. So that was kind of just like a little fun fact that I saw just today. Like I didn't even know that. I don't know how I came across it today before watching the movie, but I thought that was really cool. Like either it was pure coincidence and they just happened to cast Naomi Watts for the part, or they really threw it in as like, a special
Yeah,
moment between him and her.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So speaking of Ben, just kind of like nods or whatever. So what I read was apparently the opening montage where you show him like taking down all these like street level, baddies or whatever, was apparently lifted from the storyboards of the unmade Spider-Man 4 Raimi film.
Hmm.
And apparently that was also inspired by the unmade Cameron, as in James Cameron Spider-Man from the 90s. So then I got to, because it's a rabbit hole. I'm like, so James Cameron was going to do Spider-Man. Who did he want to be Spider-Man? Can you guess who his first choice was?
I
When
feel
I
like
tell you,
I feel like I've heard it, but I don't know.
it was Leo DiCaprio.
All right.
So right when it got canceled, boom, Titanic. The rest is history. The other alternates were Ed Furlong, if Leo couldn't do it. He wanted Dr. Ock to be played by Arnold. And then he wanted Lance Henriksen to play, I forget the character, but it's not anybody that we've seen so far. No, it was Electro. He wanted Dr. Lance Henriksen to be Electro. But he would have a different name. He'd be reinvented, kind of like, Snyder reinventions. Um, and it was Cameron's idea, which then Raimi latched onto to have the organic
Hmm.
webbing. So Raimi's film, as you probably already knew, was the first iteration to have organic webbing, and the reason for it, I think it totally flies. Apparently, the reason was Raimi was like, okay, it's suspension of disbelief, right? So the first one we're going to ask you to do, of course, is that you're Spider-Man, right? That you can crawl, whatever, right? But I think it's a bridge too far to ask the audience to believe that a kid, 17 years old, will be able to make these webs that like even 3M can't do. Like, I'm sorry, you can do that in the comics, but in this real life movie, it just makes more sense for it to be a natural part of his mutation.
Yeah.
And to me, that's cool. And I just feel like the fact that we're having Tom Holland finally also have organic webs is like that's cool. Like I think that's a different because even the comics apparently don't really go into that. I know one comic I think from 2005 to like 2008 they played with it, but then they stopped it, you know? So I don't know. I just feel like there's movies that take things back, as in like they make things worse, like Thor, Love and Thunder. There are movies that just like hold the line or status quo, like I don't know, Odyssey, I guess. And there's movies that push things forward. And to me, I think this is a film that pushed things forward. And when you say they left a lot of things to play with, that's a perfect example of how it pushes things forward. It opens up new possibilities. And I love the idea that you just made the film better for me because I did feel like it was a bit of a lame cop out that, oh, wait, Strange's spell seemed pretty like ironclad.
Ironclad. Yeah.
Why is this just leaking out now? But if Jean Grey's like, boop, boop, then, then I'm like, okay, good. Because right now you're just kind of like, it made the film better. Because I was a little bit like that's lame. Like, okay, is it just like it just fades after a while? Like, yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Like I said, they can kind of do whatever they want. So, we'll see. We'll see what it means, long term. But for now, they've got something to play with. And then we have the post credit scene, right? Which is, look, it is a fun little bit, but man, is it feel like a waste of time. Like sitting there waiting for it to happen because it it's really short, doesn't really show anything, and it's another moment that has really been left up to interpretation.
I have an interpretation.
What's yours? Yep, that is definitely one of them. The other one
Yep.
is it Miles Morales? Is it Tobey Maguire? Because there's been rumors that Toby's coming back.
Well, Toby, dude, guys, kill. Toby is coming back for what's it called? Doomsday. And it's a little, at least from what I understand, what I think is really depressing. My understanding of Doomsday is it is the of course the end of the multiverse. The incursions are happening. And basically when a planet shows up in your universe, your job is if you one has to destroy the other because if they don't, they both die. So it's like the Fox X-Men are basically killing like
Yeah,
all the incursion universes, and that might be what pits us against them. And I think Spidey's universe, Toby's universe, goes away. You know, and I think that is that's why I feel like Doomsday is going to be a lot of heartbreak, and there's going to be like it's going to be a bloodbath, basically. And it better be, dude. Like if you guys make this all like fairy tale like fluff, that will kill the MCU. No, it's got to be serious. And again, I've heard it will all make sense as to why Victor Von Doom looks like Tony Stark. They better have a really good reason, dude.
yeah.
Your face.
Eh, all of the we've got a good reason stuff. Man, I won't trust it until it happens. I just, we've seen promises from post-Endgame MCU more than once, and there's been no delivery. And I think post-Endgame has been pretty chaotic.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of stuff that's going to end up left on the cutting room floor. Just in this last week, we've seen the cancellation of Wonder Man, which by all accounts should not have happened. The show was great. He's Emmy nominated. Like, why is that getting canceled? They built up most of the Young Avengers team, which it sure feels like we're not going to get anything out of. Like, there's just, like I said, post Endgame has been a mess, and I think number one, I think Doomsday and Secret Wars have to work, and they do really have to reset. Like they really do at this point, because I don't think you can really keep that same universe and fix the things that they've broken. Um, so a reset kind of saves their ass, which is funny enough, the exact same reason they do it in the comics.
Yes. Oh,
They're
interesting.
like, fuck, we have taken this thing too far. We've messed up left, right, and center. So let's recreate the universe with Battle World, or in DC they have the 52 they do every couple of years where they just reset everything over the course of a year. Um, and yeah, it's nice. It works better in the comics, I think. Like it doesn't feel like such a hard reset in the comics because the character is always the same. Whereas when you're watching a movie, you're looking at the actor, right? Like if you reset, I don't know when you're going to be safe to reset Iron Man. Like, I don't know how you do it. Everybody's going to want Robert Downey Jr. for the next 10 years. You know, like if they just pull some kid off the shelf, some 30 something and make him
They're
Tony
doomed.
Stark, that guy's going to get compared to Robert Downey Jr. left, right, and, just like crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's hard. How are you going to recast Captain America? These guys were so iconic. They can't even make a major movie without bringing these guys back.
Which is why to me I feel like it's the perfect time to make the X-Men front and center
Yeah.
and make, the Caps and the Iron Mans, whatever, almost like cameos, like basically moving
Yep.
forward,
Yep.
just like they are in what's it called? In the X-Men 97. They just show up and leave. So, that's how. But you're so right, Um, but I'm here for it, man. Like all I'm saying is like this we needed this. Like I think this is yeah, this is the best. This might be the best MCU film in my opinion since Endgame because I do think this is better than No Way Home. I do.
Do you think it's better than Thunderbolts?
Ultimately, yes. And because I think it has more heart. I think Thunderbolts was great, but like no, I like the action scenes better in this. No, I think this had the heart. Heart matters.
Yeah. I I would go back and forth. I really would kind of want to watch the two kind of back to back and see what I really felt at the end, because I don't think the Thunderbolts lacked heart. I think the whole thing with Bob, and especially bringing him back from
True.
the
From the
void,
brink. Yeah,
yeah, was good. Um, and to be fair, both movies are kind of like about being broken, not about being, happy, right? And you
right.
you find your way back to a degree in both of them, but yeah, neither one is happy. But these two movies are definitely the best post Endgame thing, and yeah, it's interesting because I don't think next year, 2007, is the Secret Wars the only
Yes.
thing
And I'm so
besides
happy.
besides Daredevil. I think will come out next year.
Yes.
Excuse
And
me.
and 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 that to me is just like,
Also
you know,
needed.
I mean, frankly, it's what I've been saying. I mean, not to keep on, flating myself, but like I've been saying this the whole time. I was like, dude, it's too much, and the quality is gonna suffer because it's more like more, churn, 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 content, content, content. And I'm like, you guys are putting out way too much mediocre-ish. Like, let it breathe, and then whatever you put out, make it awesome. I'm actually more excited for Secret Wars than I am for Doomsday, and that's saying something. because to me it's like Doomsday is almost like we're trying too hard. Like again, that damn trailer terrified me. Like we're trying too hard, and we're just trying to like make lightning like strike in the same place again. You
I don't
know,
think we talked about the trailer on the show.
we didn't talk about that.
So like for me, there's a couple of things about the trailer that number one, it just felt like here's all of our heroes that you love. They're going to be in a movie together, and like there's no inclination of true story in there, right? Like it's just like it's like they're parading their wins out to make you, want to see this movie, which, it's going to work. Like, the advertising, it's not stupid, but it just felt uh it felt very parade-ish, right? And I think the other thing that bothers me, and you had a post about it, I think today, where it says the Russos looked at Snyder's art
Yes.
and blah blah blah. And to me, the trailer looked like way too much green screen, like way too much
Ah,
green screen. Um, and I feel like, I said a little bit about it earlier, but like we've got to get back the best stuff. The stuff that looks the best is the practical stuff.
yes.
When you do it on a green screen, you're losing that sense of realism, the stuff that made this stuff feel as good as it did early on. Like Iron Man was grounded. Even Thor,
Yes, the first
the
one.
first one was pretty grounded, and so when you put it all on a green screen and it's especially with the way special effects, like I said, have been looking lately, it's gonna feel fake. And I think that takes you out.
It
I think they
does.
need it to be more practical. So I'm a little worried about that too.
So I'm actually like, I actually have the trailer on with the sound off because I need to like kind of remember. I remembered more about how it made me feel than the actual scenes.
Yeah.
And what's coming back to me is like I just felt like a lot of this like we've kind of seen before. And
Yep.
again, I'm big on I need to see something I have not seen before.
Yep.
So, for me, I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch Professor X die again. Like, it's just like to me, the best send off for X and Magneto was Days of Future Past, and now we're gonna get another Days of Future Past ending. Okay, then like for me, the only part that felt the most like novel was seeing Shang-Chi, who we haven't seen in a million effing years, fighting Gambit. That was cool.
Yep.
I also feel like I just realized in the trailer now, the stairway in the in oh my God, what's his name?
Yeah. Strange.
Yeah,
In
it's
the
strange.
Sanctum
Yeah, it,
Sanctorum.
it blows up. That looked cool, and I think that might have been Cyclops. So that was cool, and there's a lot of fighting happening there. But besides that, especially I think when Thor's like, oh my God, or whatever he says, and then like Cap's like, what up, bro? Like I'm being ridiculous right now, but like he's like, what up, bro? Basically, like he didn't say it that, but I'm just like, I don't know, man. It just. Cap, your best entrance ever was Infinity War when the train went by and then you stood out from the shadows. That was the most amazing entrance ever. Well, I remember the theater, we
Yes.
all lost our shit.
100%. Even
It
watching it
was
at home,
so dope.
still to this day, watching that movie, that train goes by and they kick in the music, you're like, this dude is the shit. Like, this guy is the Avengers. Like, this is when everything starts to come together.
Yes.
And like, yeah, it feels like they're forcing him into the movie. They're just it does feel so much like they're grasping at straws for this movie. And I've said it before, so it's not new. It's not like I watched the trailer and think this. I thought this before. I'm
You did.
worried. Like
You did.
I know that it can be good and it can be great. But I'm worried. I'm worried that it's a cash grab or that it's a save the Marvel universe kind of thing, Like it's so important that it works that I'm worried that they're going to overdo it to make it work. Um And so, yeah, it's just, I worry for sure. And the trailer didn't reassure me very much.
No, and you know me, I was all like, in Foggy We Trust. I was a believer. You couldn't tell me nothing. After that trailer, I was like, Kev, you might be right, man. I was like, oh
Yeah.
no.
Sometimes it sucks being a genius, man.
It's like, like, because trailers matter, my friend, and that's the best you can come with, really, really. Now, apparently, the trailer they showed at Comic-Con was better. That's what I'm hearing,
Well,
and the
did they
people were
show a
kind of
trailer or
like,
did they show footage? Like, I'm
or
not
maybe it
sure.
was footage. Yeah, right,
Yeah,
probably footage. But either way, they said whatever they showed at Comic-Con was way better. They said they
yeah.
were like, "Why did you come with that weak sauce?" And maybe this is a rope-a-dope. Maybe because we're coming up, we're showing up anyway. I mean, come on, like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it's
I'm
Avengers.
100%
Like,
buying my tickets.
yeah,
Like,
we're.
there's no question.
But what I love, by the way, too, in a way, is like, yo, honestly, like Saloni asked me, "How excited are you for Brand New Day?" Because we were in the line. There's people dressed up as Spider-Man, or they had Spider-Man gear. I mean, we're like everybody's here for Spider-Man. You could feel it in the energy in the air. I told her 8. She was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm a 10 for Doomsday, but I'm an 8 for this." And she's like, "I'm a 9." It's so funny. So I basically I say all that to say, like, yo, like, how slash why is Spider-Man so popular? Like, I did not see this coming. I mean, he apparently he broke he surpassed Endgame as far
Yes,
as
this is the
like
biggest opening day ever.
in history.
And now we're on our way to the biggest opening weekend ever. Like, it's, or close to it. It's supposed to, in the opening weekend, hit $900 million worldwide. And that is fucking insane. And that's going up against the Odyssey, which has only been in theater and is taking away IMAX theaters from Spider-Man. Like, it has actual competition, which, and it just doesn't give a shit. It's just like, no,
No, it's steamrolled
we're gonna crush.
Odyssey. Like Odyssey, what?
Yeah.
It's like next. So I mean,
But Odyssey didn't do bad this weekend either.
no, but it was like so for me. It's like, what is it? Is it Tom? Is it Destin Daniel Cretton? I mean that name. He's now respect. That guy
Well,
is the shit.
he created Wonder Man. And so, like, again, another reason that it's heartbreaking the show got canceled. Like, the guys,
Honestly, I in my back pocket, I think they're gonna get the movie treatment or something. I feel like, I know, right? You shaking your head,
it's
I
it's
get
just
it.
one of those things where when they're resetting the universe,
There's no room for
it's
him.
probably expendable,
Yeah.
because they only spent one season on it. Um, because, like, Moon Knight hasn't come back, and he should be in Midnight Suns, which they're still talking about making because they're bringing in Ghost Rider. Like, yeah, I don't know. The reset is going to be interesting. Like, what gets left by the wayside will be really, really interesting. Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that didn't get developed that is just going to have to get
I'll be honest. I
pitched.
think Wonder Man, you're making me feel better about it because it was kind of like it could be just a good kind of elsewhere tale one shot type thing. So you're right. We got to be essential, and yeah, we got to be essential. We got to have a through line.
Yeah, if
And
you
right
were going
now,
to continue going with the universe as it stands, you could make Wonder Man fit in there. You could do stuff with him, broaden him out into the world, continue to tell the story in a short episode series, like 6 episodes, perfect. Tell your story, or make a movie, do whatever, or make a one shot movie like they did with Werewolf by Night. Like, those things work. But yeah, if you're talking about resetting, where does he fit in the reset? And that's the part that I think is unfortunate.
and
Um,
he's not, and deservedly so. He's not cheap. Like, like that actor, forget
is
his
it
name at the moment.
Yahya? Is it Yahya
Yahya
Yaha?
Abdul-Mateen.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like that's it. Yeah, he's
yeah.
awesome.
It's just unfortunate because he actually was incredible. I think he did a great job. I think the
Mhm.
show was great. I think Ben Kingsley was great in it. Like, everything
Great
about the
chemistry.
show was fantastic. It just doesn't fit into in the world going forward, I think, and that's a bummer.
Amen.
And then in other Marvel news, they're slowly casting the X-Men. The rumor is that they're trying to get the X-Men fully cast by the middle of the month because D23 is August 14th,
Oh
and
wow.
they want to announce their cast then if they can. Um, so yeah, it's interesting. So, but I do think because they today we saw them cast Samara Weaving as, or maybe it was yesterday, cast
Frost.
Samara Weaving as Emma Frost, and I mean, put the two side by side. It is a perfect casting, and I love Sam Weaving. She's awesome, and I think she's got the right, like she can do attitude. And Emma Frost is not your sweet little waif girl. Like she's a saucy bitch sometimes. Like she, you know,
How do you think the actress from Mad Men did? She's kind of disappeared, didn't she? She was Emma Frost in X-Men First Class.
she had
Remember
the
people?
look, but I don't think they did Emma Frost very well in that anyways. And I'd have to go
Yeah,
back and rewatch it to be perfectly
yeah,
honest.
fair.
But yeah, she was a pretty face, I think, more than or fit the look of the character better than anything else. January Jones is her name. Um, but yeah, I think she was definitely cast on looks, and they could have done better with that character.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm wondering who Wolverine's gonna be, who Cyclops is gonna be, like all those people,
Well,
the
that's
only
the
way you
thing
can get
too,
there
is I've
yet.
seen some people point out like who the hell is going to be Cyclops and how old is he going to be? Because is he going to be young enough to be in a
Has to
relationship
be.
with Jean Grey? Or is he going to be old enough to be in a relationship with Emma Frost? Because he has been with both in the
Yeah,
comics, and there's a significant age gap between Sadie Sink and Samara Weaving.
yeah.
Because I think Samara Weaving's 33, 34, something like that. Um, and Sadie Sink is what, 22, 23,
Which also makes
and
me
they played her
wonder
young.
about the timey-wimey stuff, right? Because I know there's been some criticism. I personally don't really care, but there's been some criticism about the casting of the new Black Panther. They're basically saying like, yo, like he was
Yeah,
a kid in the
age-wise
second
doesn't
movie.
work.
Like what's going on? So to me, it's almost like it's definitely some going to be some, either timey-wimey stuff or there's going to be another time jump.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Either way, one of the two, because yeah, he definitely is not the right age for the character with the
as a
timeline
matter
as we
of fact,
understand
there
it.
probably has to be a time jump, and that could probably explain. Like Emma Frost is probably isn't going to show up until after the time jump, and then
Yeah,
Sadie Sink within 2 years will just be like, okay, forget Stranger Things. She is now older, so it's all good. There's no cheese pizza happening, and cheese pizza is my metaphor for CP, and you know what I'm talking about, or
yeah,
not, whatever. It's not being
yeah.
creepy. So,
I think too, if you look at the pictures of her on the red carpet and stuff, she definitely looks a little older.
yeah,
Like she's, more mature. And if they don't film, even if they cast the X-Men at this point, I don't think they'll even start filming until next year,
yeah.
sometime at the earliest. Because I think they just said Secret Wars is only just now going into production, right? So even if they cast the X-Men, they may not
We might
they
even
may
get
not
till
start filming for a while. So
23.
they can age her up a little bit. And I guess if you make her 25 in the X-Men, Scott Summers 28, and what's her bucket? Emma Summers, Emma Frost, 32.
Yeah.
You're fine. You're fine. And who's not gonna, at least for a minute fall for the hot older woman, right? Especially when Jean's being, Jean.
Yeah, basically, I think
She
she
can
was
be a little
dead.
crazy in the comics. Uh,
And did you hear about Adam Driver being considered for Mr. What's his name? Mr. Sinister?
I have seen that. Haven't
Rumor.
really seen anything
Yeah.
that makes it look definitive at all.
Yeah.
So we'll really see. Uh,
And I've seen Indy Navarette. said she had
She
talked
wants to be
to
Mystique.
exactly.
The other rumor out there is that they are very possibly casting Kaylee Spaney as Rogue.
Yeah, I'm okay with
Uh,
that. I saw that you
I'm
were not a fan. Yeah.
I'm not. I think because especially because there was competition between her and Odessa. I think is it Azion. I got her like I can't get her last name right off the top of my head. Um, who is very talented and I think looks more like Rogue. And from the acting that I've seen, does a better job with playing a sassy character like Rogue would be.
She has the curly hair. I actually have never seen her, but I never heard of her until tonight.
She
Okay.
was in. Oh, you didn't watch it. She was in the ping pong one with Chalamet. Um,
Okay.
but uh, but yeah, she she can do attitude, and Kaylee Spaney to me looks too sweet. If
Yeah.
Kaylee Spaney was younger, I would say she'd make a a better Jubilee. Although Jubilee should probably be of Asian heritage, and I don't think Kaylee Spaney has any Asian heritage in her. But I'm trying to think of who um, a softer character is in the X-Men universe that she could play. Because
Kaylee?
I just don't think, yeah, I just don't think she has the
What
sass for
about the
Rogue.
person that oh my God. Um Ellen Page. The character Ellen Page played.
Yeah, Emma, no, God damn it, I know who you're
I
talking
know.
about.
Yeah, but
Um,
that character.
mhm.
I could see Kaylee doing that.
Yeah, that one would definitely be more of a fit. Um, Kitty Pryde, Kitty Pryde,
Yes. Katie.
would definitely be more of a fit for Kaylee Spaney to me,
Yeah. I agree.
than Rogue. But it's again the hardest thing about this current like age of social media that we're in is that somebody will post something and it will just catch fire, and then it's like a rumor on the internet that some asshole just made up, and it just runs for like 3 days. Like today we had oh, they've canceled the sequel to
Oh my
Alien
God.
Romulus, and I was like, well, that fucking sucks. And then, a Sony like studio head came out and they're like, yeah, no, we have not canceled that, which could be total BS. They may have seen the heat and been like, oh, you know what, maybe we need to not cancel this. But
I'm like, I almost want to like, because I remember it wasn't like, um, this ain't, there's certain like Fandom Wire. It wasn't Fandom Wire. Like, if it's Fandom Wire, I'm not sharing it. But like, I'm just trying to remember, like, I'm scrolling now to see what the source was, because the source seemed somewhat legit. But, anyway,
yeah,
oh,
one
here
of
we
them was
go.
like just a
Yeah,
dude's name.
yeah. So it's A shot. So yeah, they're not official, but they tend to be, a bit more credible. But yeah. Yeah, and they did say they posted another one saying not a retraction, but like an update, basically saying, yeah, no, false, fake news.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. But it'll be interesting to see if they are really trying to make that August 14th deadline. There will be some fast moving action in the casting for that. Um, and I don't know who they're going to cast. Like, do they need to cast Wolverine early?
No.
Like, does he even need to be in the first X-Men movie? Like, could they go with Puck instead? Like, could they go with the original X-Men lineup rather than Wolverine?
That would be cool.
Uh,
Beast. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
The original five.
So like there's
Angel.
yeah, yeah, lots of options there. Um, if you bring in although if you're bringing in Emma Frost, you're probably doing a later iteration. But she could also be the villain.
True.
She's
Yeah.
always kind of
Hellfire.
yeah, the Hellfire Club. Like she's back and forth as to whether she's good or bad or in between. So anything can happen there. But um, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to see what happens there. And then, you know, where does where does Spider-Man go next? I mean, obviously, we know he's going to appear in Secret Wars. Um, Tom Holland has now said that he can't say whether or not he's in Doomsday, which it's Tom
I don't
Holland,
think
so it
he
makes me
is.
think maybe he'll show up at like the end or something. um, because Tom Holland can't keep his little mouth shut. Uh,
But did you
but
see Tom Holland actually say there is no Jean Grey? And I actually, and then one of my friends was like, well, he said it, and I said, dude, he could be lying. Andrew Garfield denied
oh,
the
Andrew
whole
Garfield
time.
was the best. He was
Yes,
so
it's
full of
Photoshop.
shit. Yeah.
But then my friend was like, well, I don't see Tom lying. I'm like, it's Hollywood.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he's finally learned. Uh, he's Zendaya's got him under control. She's like, dude, just shut your mouth.
Yep.
So, yeah. Which, to be
Um,
fair, like I love seeing footage of those two on the red carpet and stuff, man.
for
They
1,000%. They're
they're a great couple, and I'm glad that they made it. I hope they make it a long time.
I think they will. And they live in London, apparently. I was like, they're back home in
Oh,
London. I'm like, man, so I love how the fellas, I'm sorry, at least, got her moved to Vegas and, he got her moved to London. Like, it's like, they come live with us. But also it's London. So it's like, yes, it is tabloid crazy, but it's also away from like, Hollywood. So I think they will. They seem grounded.
yeah,
Um, yeah, good energy.
yeah. So cool. Oh, you know what? Really quick, what are your thoughts on X-Men 97 at this point?
Oh God. Okay, first of all, no, and that's not a bad one or a good thing. It's just I actually, I'm behind. The last episode I saw was the one that everyone was shitting on, which was the one where um Wolverine is going in to get something, which I already forgot what it was. Oh yeah, and the Brood shows up,
Yeah,
and so I think I'm like 2 episodes behind
yeah, I
at
think
least.
so too. So, yeah, the issue really at hand, and you've missed a couple of things those that I won't talk about, but these episodes really feel like filler, whereas last
Oh
season it felt like
no.
the filler was at the beginning and then it
Yeah.
built up at the end. This one feels like it is filler at the end.
Mm.
And so I don't quite understand um what they're gonna do. Like there's a couple of things that they do at the end of each of these last two episodes that's interesting. But again, the episodes themselves feel like filler. It's like you're watching this whole episode to get a 1 minute peek at the big story. And this late in the season, that doesn't feel um great.
Do you think it took a turn when they killed off Magneto? To me, it's like, why would you do that? Like, I don't know.
Uh it
That might
just
have actually hurt. That might have well, life's just been crazy, but like, I remember feeling a certain way about that. I did not like it.
it just didn't it felt like they were trying to recreate the Gambit moment and it didn't land for me. Like
Yeah,
I was not on board the way that I was when Gambit went down. I was like, shit, that was big. Like that one like hurt and I wasn't even the world's biggest Gambit fan, you know?
same.
But he was such a hero in that moment and like Magneto just kind of went out. Like I know he was trying to help people and whatever, but like it just wasn't the impact wasn't the same. And I think there's some magic lost this season compared to the season before. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they could pull it out with something incredible here at the end.
Hmm.
And but they've got to get back to Apocalypse at this point because they set him up. And then, like I said, they just went away from it. It's really bizarre, that the order that they're doing things in compared to the last season.
All right. Well, this has been quite the Marvel-tastic episode.
It has longer than I thought it would be, but we got a lot of stuff in. I think overall, like I said, well, I give it an 8.5. What would you give it?
9.
Yep. Um, I really can't argue it. I would definitely tell you to go watch the
Oh, well, the
Punisher
one
one
shot.
shots though, or the one shot, not S, just one single one shot, um, just to see what I'm talking about. But otherwise, it was pretty awesome. Like I said, there's some interesting holes. There's a great open ending, so they can go wherever they damn well feel like. So. With that, I will say thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.